if Lane Kiffin goes to LSU, he has a very high likelihood of winning a national championship because every coach is ever since 2000 who's coached for LSU outside of Brian Kelly has won a national championship. So I want to talk about Lane Kiffin and how he could potentially be the next head coach at LSU. So Ole Miss would like Lane Kiffin to tell them after the Mississippi State game if he's planning on taking one of these jobs. And I'm going to be 100% honest with you. I think Lane Kiffin is going to leave Ole Miss, and I don't think anybody should be mad about this. I think that if you're a smart person, you're always looking towards the future. I think there are plenty of smart players on Ole Miss's football team that they're looking towards their future as well, whether it be in the NFL, whether it be in the transfer portal, whether it just be getting an everyday job that they're going to have after their playing career is over. Everybody's looking towards the future. I don't think any coaches should be shamed towards looking into the future. Does that not mean that you're completely locked in on the season at hand? No, it doesn't mean that at all. Ole Miss has had a fantastic year this year. They have one loss this year. What else more do you want out of Ole Miss? They're going to make the college football playoffs. They're going to be in a position to win a few college football playoff games here. So at the end of the day, why would anybody be mad at Lane Kiffin because he's like, hey, look, yeah, I'm going to explore one of these openings. I don't know. I don't think anybody should be mad at him. He's done a lot for that program. That program is now at a very high level in large part because of Lane Kiffin. So if he makes the decision that, yeah, I'm probably going to explore some other opportunities with bigger programs, I don't think anybody should look at him any type of way. And I'm going to be honest with you as well. If Lane Kiffin goes to LSU, he has a very high likelihood of winning a national championship because every coach is ever since 2000 who's coached for LSU outside of Brian Kelly has won a national championship. Are you thinking that Lane Kiffin isn't looking at the fact that Ed Orgeron won a national championship with this program and saying to himself, I'm a better coach than Ed Orgeron is, right? Yeah, the Brian Kelly situation, that was an entire mess because that was just an awful fit. Brian Kelly never fit LSU. He never fit the SEC. Obviously, we know Lane Kiffin can fit the SEC. He has one of the best offenses in the country. He's one of the best coaches in the country. He has so much familiarity with that conference. He'll be able to succeed if he goes to LSU. And I just think that if he goes to that program and he's the coach at that program, he has a real chance to win his national championship. And I think he's going to. I think he's going to go to LSU, and I think he's going to win a national championship for LSU. That's just the way it is. When you look at that recruiting base, that Louisiana recruiting base, it's a very good state for high school football. It's not the best, but it's one of the best. All those kids are going to LSU. And then you can pick, other states to recruit from when it comes to Florida or Alabama or Texas or whatever it may be. You can go to those states and recruit as well. Because I said this before, when it comes to SEC programs, all these teams have a few teams in their state, right? Like when it comes to high level programs, you talk about Texas, they have Texas A&M. Texas A&M has Texas. They also have Texas Tech that they're competing with as well, right? When you talk about Florida, there's Florida State, there's Miami. Those are big time programs. When you talk about Alabama, there's Auburn. LSU, it's not like that. So the recruiting base is always going to lean towards LSU in that state. So now you can venture off into other states and see if you can get some guys out of their states and where they're at to come play for you. Because LSU is a gigantic program, right? A lot of the best players in the NFL that are playing on Sundays at a high level played where? They played for LSU. When you talk about Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Derek Stingley, Joe Burrow, obviously, how could I forget about him? There's so many guys that are playing at an extremely high level and that have played at an extremely high level that wore the purple and gold. And I think that that's extremely attractive to recruits. And not only is that extremely attractive, Lane Kiffin is extremely attractive to those recruits as well. So that's why I think he's going to end up going there. I'm going to be 100% honest with you as well. Lane Kiffin is going to leave Ole Miss. But you want to know who I think would be an awesome replacement for Lane Kiffin? It would be John Gruden. I think John Gruden would be an outstanding replacement for Lane Kiffin. He's a guy just like Lane Kiffin has a big personality. He's a guy just like Lane Kiffin has an offensive identity to him. He's a guy who wants to get back into coaching. This guy is a Super Bowl champion. And he's a guy that I just think is up with the trends when it comes to football as a whole, whether it be college or NFL. This is not a guy that was just out and doing his thing with a 24-year-old girl like a coach who coaches at North Carolina. I don't think that's John Gruden, right? I think that John Gruden is a guy that's going to be able to come in and day one, he's going to really be able to make a difference for that program. And I just think that that would be a great place to go if you're Ole Miss. And I think that that's a guy that they should absolutely consider because he obviously wants to coach again. And I think that replacing Lane Kiffin with John Gruden would be an awesome replacement.